The engine is starting up. 3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
There we go. Good morning, everybody. Ooh, the picture's booming out there in the background. That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
It's a heart.
Looks good.
Good morning, and
Welcome.
thank you for joining us right here on What's Going Down, your show that gives you your news on the science, the paranormal, the spiritual, the supernatural, not necessarily government, but we talk about anything on this show.
It might pop up every once in a while.
Yeah, and I think it might pop up today because what we were talking about prior to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, actually, no, was it that way? Yeah, we're good. We got a lot of cool stories for you guys today. Some interesting videos, some shorts, some hit clips, some science, some stuff that maybe you
Some
didn't
what?
even. Some science. Science!
There we go.
Maybe even some things that you didn't even know about, which is kind of cool.
I mean, probably most stuff
we don't
know about. Yeah.
Let's be honest. Unfortunately, right before the show, we did get some very sad news. Our love and condolences go out to Laura Lee Pavin and her family. She lost her son within the last 24 hours to a cardiac arrest.
I can't imagine dealing with something like that. Honestly, it's I'm so sorry that happened, and like I said, love and condolences to her and her family. Which at this time it's hard. It's wish I could think of the right words to say, but
I
doesn't even seem like enough.
think
you
you're
lose a
right.
kid, you know.
No, you're right. The words are not there that you want to express to someone who just went through that, especially when they're a friend or a family member.
Mm-hmm.
So know that all of our love from here at the RNN goes out to you, Laura Lee, and your family, and know you're being thought about at this moment. And I want to also say thank you to Carrie Lynn Shellhorn for contacting me ASAP to let me know, since I have not been on social media till now, to know what's going on. So I appreciate you, Sherry Lynn, for letting me know what's going down. No pun intended. So we're going to keep the chat open in case you guys have some questions, statements, or opinions, because you know this is that open show. We are trying to provide the best information and up to date. Now there are news that we are going to talk about. We're going to adjust this, and we're going to go there so y'all can see us a little better. There we go.
There we go.
It's in the house.
Yeah.
Much better than anticipated. This is what's going down. I'm actually going to take the overlay off for now, so it's a full picture. We'll still see your chat. If you have a chat or comment you want to make, go right ahead. This is what's going down on the RNN. I am Ed, the Hitman Odell.
And I'm Ryan the Freak Jones.
Oh, I like that. The freak.
Or Spirit Talker,
Spirit
depending
Talker.
if I'm on the Paranormal Outlaws.
This is true, which will be coming out very soon. Or maybe Saturday night. I'm not sure how we're going to do that. Okay, I'm going to be mumbling, so I've got to speak up because I'm feeling a little myself today.
Hopefully the coffee will kick in.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully. But we've got a lot of cool things for y'all today. General conversation, if you want to jump into, you have questions and maybe something we can hit on. But as always, you know what? I had it set up, Ryan, and I hit the wrong one because we always started with what you guys need to know first. And let me find her.
Is it the sun?
Yeah. We're going to prop her up. And as always, we like to hit this up with a little bit of Dr. Tametha Skov, Space Weather Spotlight 31, baby. Had to do that in a little dusty road. You like that? A little dusty road.
If you will.
If you will. That's right. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring here and let's start the show.
Really seeing some activity from region 39, 39, or 8, and then 39 gets in the fray, and you can watch them both kind of launching some junk here. Well, at one point they launched this big solar storm. Check this out in coronagraphs. See this massive halo? This is definitely an Earth-directed solar storm, and we'll talk more about it in a minute because this one could actually hit Earth by New Year's. So we'll talk about that in a sec when we get into the models, but that's the first of several solar storms that are going to hit Earth. You can watch these regions continue to fire over the next 24 hours. And on the eve of the 29th, region 3939 fires again. Here's another partial halo. It's much more wispy than the first one. And that's because this thing keeps firing off all of its material. But this is also an Earth-directed solar storm. So it's now going to be on the heels of the first one. And this could hit on New Year's Day. So welcome to January 1st in the new year. Now, on top of that, we're going to have more activity from these regions. Watch region 3932 and 3936 here early on the 30th. Pow! Both of them fire together and give us an X-class flare. This is an R3 level radio blackout over the Asian Pacific. Now, we didn't get a big solar storm launch with this, so we don't have yet another Earth-directed solar storm. But with all of this activity on the Earth-facing disk and new regions going to be rotating into Earth view, you can see region 3943 here firing off some junk here off to the side. That particular region might be old region 3917, which was very active last rotation. So my goodness, the storm potential and the flare potential keeps coming. So get ready, Aurora photographers, because you're going to have a lot of fun over New Year's and possibly in through next week as well.
So Why do we do this? Well, this is keeping you guys informed, man. Even though this is 3 weeks, this was her last post 3 weeks ago, but it kind of led into what we experienced through Christmas and New Year's, and that's why I wanted to get that set up. Um, I love the way she goes about things. You know, she explains it very easily. It's not hard to understand how she produces it. Um, and this time we got to see the effects from the past. No
Yeah.
pun intended, right?
Kind of like be able to look back on what we experienced.
Yeah. The consequences.
Yeah.
Did we have any consequences from these storms? And a lot of people would say yes.
Probably some equipment malfunctioning, stuff like that.
Well,
That
look
could
at the cell phone
occur.
connections. I mean,
That's
they've been
true.
horrible. And internet's been really slow. So, I mean, you could base that on the military, you could base it on government. But, looking at it scientifically, the solar flares really affect solar signals.
Yeah, I mean, if looking at from that point of view, it's like stuff you don't really think about too much. You don't think about the solar flares. You think about more right in front of you issues or problems or solutions or reasons. But when you think about a bigger picture,
Mhm.
you may think of, oh, well, what else is there that could cause this to happen? But we can't do anything about solar flares, obviously.
No,
What's
I
gonna
mean,
happen.
we really can't do anything
Yeah.
about anything but stand up
Yeah.
and fight for whatever things we see that we can. But that's a valid point.
Yeah.
I mean, these are things that we have to look at that at least it gives us a warning of what to work with in the future.
Yeah, we're always looking for something to blame. Like this is, or having a reason for whatever problems we're having.
Yeah.
So we can find it. Maybe they can find a solution for it. But
Bypassing the conspiracy and going straight to true what is actually going on comparatively to what we think is going on. Valid point. So with that being said, there is something that I want to say now that we listened to you guys on the Travelers page. We listened. We looked at the poll. You guys have stated that you want the information put straight on the Travelers group page. You didn't want us to make a fan page, and you didn't want it just to be here. So 90% of those polls taken have asked for this kind of information that we're producing be put on the Travelers page for those of you who are travelers. That's what you're going to see.
we can do that.
Yep. I've started doing a little bit of teasing the last 2 weeks, but to keep you guys informed, he and I will find the cool stuff on YouTube and whatever news media is out there, and we will share it right to the Travelers page.
As long as we're giving out information here, we're exclusive information here on what's going down. We have been uploading all the shows, the recent shows, to Spotify, so you were able to now listen as well as watch us.
That's right.
So if you missed a show and you want to go back, or you want to go back and listen to us again, which I don't blame you. Who wouldn't want to listen to us more than once?
Depends on your crazy
Yeah, that's
level.
true. That's true. We are now going to be on Spotify, and we'll be uploading the older shows as well to Spotify. So,
And this is to help you guys that don't really download apps or get into that. And because we have the Rift Nation app that's
Mhm.
available, you can download it and you can just have it right there for you. But a lot of people don't dig that. They just want to be able to go to one place to get their
because
podcast.
people on Spotify, they listen to their podcasts on there. So
Yeah.
just add Rift Nation Network to your Spotify account, and we'll pop up.
Bam! Like a glove, baby.
Oh yeah.
So that's cool. As you can see the progression, the background's going to change. We're only using the RNN newsroom for this episode. In the future episodes, it's going to have its own background as well.
So
We were talking about that today. So
this is a rare episode. We're gonna use this background for.
yeah, and then it'll all come together.
That's right. Mhm.
Hey, I kind of look like Walter. Oh, I don't give a damn.
You look like the Godfather.
Yeah, right. So we got some cool stuff. Now you got some stories coming out,
I
right?
do.
And we've got a lot of these stories again that are interlinked. So it's, I'm going to hand it on over to him, and then we're going to jump into
right.
the next one.
This is from The Conversation. It's published on October 25th, 2024. It's why ghosts wear clothes or white sheets instead of appearing nude.
Intriguing.
When you think of a ghost, what comes to mind? A ghastly, moldy, winding sheet, a malevolent pile of supernatural armor, or a sinister gentleman in a stiff Victorian suit. In 1863, George Cruikshank, the caricaturist and illustrator of Dickens' novels, announced a discovery concerning the varied appearance of ghosts. It does not seem, he wrote, that anyone has ever thought of the gross absurdity, impossibility of there being such things as ghosts of wearing apparel. Ghosts cannot, must not, dare not, for decency's sake, appear without clothes. And as there can be no such thing as ghosts or spirits of clothes, why then it appears that ghosts never did appear and never can appear. That doesn't even make any sense.
That's almost a hypocritical
Yeah, let me read
statement.
this again. Yeah. It's Old English, so hang on.
Oh,
Yes.
it's old.
My God, not anyone has ever thought of the gross absurdity and impossibility of there ever being such things as ghosts of wearing apparel. Ghosts cannot, must not, dare not, for decency's sake, appear without clothes. And as there can be no such thing as ghosts or spirits of clothes, why then it appears that ghosts never did appear and never can appear. Well, that even with
You did that perfectly, by the way.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Even with the accent. it
Yeah,
doesn't
that
make
was
sense.
really good. Yeah, I was like, whoa, I'm impressed. Right.
Why aren't ghosts naked? This was a key philosophical question for Cruikshank and many others in Victorian Britain. Indeed, stories of naked or clothless ghosts, especially outside folklore, are exceedingly rare. Skeptics and ghost seers alike have delighted in thinking about how exactly ghosts could have form and force in the material world. Just what kind of stuff could they be made of that allows them to share our plane of existence in all its mundanity? The image of the ghost as a figure in a white winding sheet or burial shroud has retained its iconic status for hundreds of years because it suggests a continuity between the corpse and the spirit. The main social role of the ghost before the modern period was to carry a message to the living beyond the grave. So the link to burial clothing makes sense. This can be seen in the medieval trope of the three living and the three dead, whereby some hunters encounter their future skeletal corpses wrapped in linen, admonishing them to remember death. Yet by the mid 19th century, with spiritualism and early forms of psychical research spreading across the Western world, people began to report seeing ghosts dressed in everyday contemporaneous clothing. This raised problems for those interested in investigating the reality of ghosts. If the ghost was an objective reality, why would it be wearing clothes? If the tenets of spiritualism were true, should the soul which has returned to visit the earth not be formed of light or some other form of ethereal substance? Were the clothes of spirits also spiritual? And if so, did they share in their essence, or were they the ghosts of clothes in their own right? Good questions. Could you adopt an idealistic position and say that the clothes were metaphysical ideas bound up with immortal identity of the wearer? The identity of the ghost meaning something more than simply the apparition of a soul force. Another explanation was that ghost seers dress the ghost, automatically through unconscious processes. And so we see a ghost in its usual dress because that is the mental picture we have of the person. And this choice of garment is most likely to inspire recognition. The critic and anthropologist Andrew Lang, love him, drew comparisons between dreaming and ghost seeing in 1897 when he stated, "We do not see people naked as a rule in our dreams and hallucinations, which being waking dreams, conform to the same rule. If a ghost opens a door or lifts a curtain in our sight, that too is only part of the illusion. The door did not open, the curtain was not lifted. It was produced in the same way as a hypnotized patient is told that his hand is burned. His fancy then begets real blisters." So the door didn't open. They're just imagining it.
Yeah, see, this is the intriguing part. This is old school thought, of course. And we know in today's society, as our parahistorical research tells us, that spirits and entities come to you as they feel like it's best for you to perceive them. However, I will say this is intriguing to me. How come we have never seen a spirit in the nude?
Oh, that's what they were talking about.
Yeah,
that's
this is intriguing.
Yeah,
it's a valid point. How come we have not seen loved ones, okay, husbands, wives that have come back to visit? They're going to want that individual to feel comfort and scared. If they come back, why not show themselves in their birthday suit to their loved one?
I would not be comforted, or if I saw like my grandmother show up to my
no,
naked,
dude. I'm talking about like relationships.
I would not be
talking about
comforted at
mother,
all.
father, daughter. No. But your wife or your husband or your girlfriend or your boyfriend who has passed, you had that physical connection with. Why wouldn't they show themselves in that just birthday suit? Isn't that intriguing?
Yeah, I mean, if it's pure energy that spirits are, why can't they just like manifest clothes on themselves, and that's how they want to appear?
Well, that's what they say.
Yeah,
they come to you to keep you as calm as possible, so it is said. Where others, now here's the other thing, we talk about, okay, here comes the D word. We talk about demons and we talk about succubuses and all of these. How come we don't have a solid picture of that? You show me a picture that we've gotten of a demon or a succubus or nubus.
It's always people like demons inside the person.
Yes.
And I guess all the illustrations were done by description.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone else was writing about them, describing them.
Yeah.
But no one's ever actually seen them. I mean, maybe if you look in the Bible, there's probably some descriptions of demons in there. Maybe.
Well, there is. And who knows? Maybe demons and these things are alien dimensional social beings too. Who knows? It is also said, now this is in theory, of course, that demons are in the 2D and angelics are in the 4 to 5D. So 2D, and if they turn this way, you can't see them. So they have to turn this way. That's intriguing to me. That's an interesting theory too. Again, we're taking this a whole different extreme, you guys, but the article
going down the rabbit hole as far as like why clothes don't appear.
Yeah.
Why don't you see ghost dogs? You see ghost cats. Why don't we see ghost fish?
Right?
Or ghost turtles or ghost dinosaurs? Now, is it because dinosaurs there's still, even though God, no one actually was talking about God back then, doesn't mean he wasn't there. There have to be a spiritual belief for there to be ghosts
to manifest.
Yeah, I mean
it's intriguing.
Are there ghost cavemen?
Yes.
Were ghost Indians or Native Americans, or would they, or a ghost? If there's a ghost in Africa with they watch those National Geographic and their boobs are hanging out, do they appear nude because that's how they were in life?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't. Some things don't add up and make sense.
Yeah, and I could put a suit and tie on someone who lives in Swahili or whatever.
Here's the question: is the spirit a projection of our thought now? I hate to go there, but we've got to go there because these points of cavemen, Swahili, even go to China, and Japan, samurai spirits, and
Yeah, they all show up in their
Mongolian
samurai garb.
Yeah.
They'll show up. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's just
it's intriguing.
you show up how you were in life, I guess. Because then where they deal with the chains, like stories of like chains rattling,
right?
Where the chains come from? If they weren't there before.
Another valid point. Was that something that was created through mythology?
Yeah. Or,
reality to mythology, folks.
The first ghost story was written by a Greek philosopher. I don't remember their name, but he was talking about someone. He bought a house in Greece.
Yep.
And there was a ghost that showed up, and he was working on something. The ghost is rattling the chains, and the philosopher was like, he was a stoic. He was stoic. Yeah. And so he was like, just, hang on 1 second, and I'll finish what I'm doing, writing stuff down. And then, but the guy kept rattling his chains. So finally he was like, okay, what do you need?
Mm-hmm.
So then he took him outside, and he told him where to point at the ground. He dug a hole and found this guy's body wrapped in chains. And then after that, he was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he was wrapped in chains. But then again, where did the chains come from? Like,
right.
and it was a sound he was making.
Mm-hmm.
Where did the sound come from?
Makes you wonder this: did they emphasize these noises to emphasize their story? All right, so maybe there was no change, but for the author to emphasize the spirit, they created the sound of chains or whatever. Maybe it's a metaphor of something else.
It's like, can you make sound with nothing?
Does a tree fall in the woods? You hear it, or do you not hear it?
I mean, no, you don't hear it. You don't hear it because you're not there.
Right.
Yeah.
It still happened.
Yeah. Does it make a sound? No. Because you have to hear the sound.
Exactly.
So sound can manifest. You don't have to have two things hitting each other. Sound can manifest from nothing.
Yep.
Smells can manifest from nothing.
Yeah, this is true.
You smell stuff.
You paranormal people, you've heard the theory now for the last 10 years. He and I. What?
Yeah.
The clicking before your EVP.
Mm-hmm.
You may want to look into that. It sounds like a stick or a snap or something like that.
But if it's
energy release,
different planes, in that plane where the ghost is or the spirit, the ghost is puffing on the cigar, but the smell from the smoke is sifting over to our plane.
Mm-hmm.
So on that plane, the person is still puffing on a cigar, but somehow it slips through the time continuum or whatever and ends up in our nose.
And what about everything we're doing on here? Maybe it goes over there too.
Yeah. They could be hearing us right now.
Just don't think 2. You got to think 3 to 5, because maybe what we're doing is affecting the other side just as much as the other side can affect us.
Yeah, I mean, that taco meat that Angie was making, that someone could be at a whole different level, whole different time or dimension. Couldn't think of the word.
You're good.
In like whatever was here before, and be like, what is that smell? Why does it smell like? They may not even know what taco meat even is.
See, Now, what about those times you got a craving out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Man, I'd love to have a pizza. Or, man, spaghetti sounds really good. How do we know we're not being affected by the other side? And it is drawing us into it. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're
I love
going
this
down the
show.
rabbit hole. Here, let me finish this up real quick.
So much for the big videos.
I know, right? For laying the clothes of ghosts were the stuff that dreams were made of. The implication of this, that ghost seers are dressers but not undressers, seems to reflect a pervading morality of ghosts. If someone dies, like that movie Ghost, that show Ghosts, like come on the BBC or whatever.
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah, the guy died, but his pants were off.
Right.
So he walks around with pants off.
Or the dude with the arrow in his head.
Yeah. But not undressers, seem to reflect a pervading morality of ghosts, whereby most 19th century spirits were sanitized or chaste. Lang's old assumptions, there was no nakedness in dreams, echoes this. The matter of spirits. The fashion and clothing were central to the identification of class, gender, and occupation in the Victorian period. I'm wondering, since like a lot of time when we think about ghosts, we think about the Victorian period, and that's in our minds, that's who we think of.
Yeah. Who we stink of?
Stink of. That's who we stink of.
Way to go, Howard.
Yeah. I wonder if that's an influence on. I don't think about Greek or Roman ghosts.
You don't think about Greek, Roman? Even what about the early Middle Ages? What about Queen Anne and Queen Victoria? How about this? How about King Henry? We don't think about those periods of time, so they don't manifest. What if we focused on those periods?
There are
of time?
lots of ghosts lots of stories about the Tower of London. Anne Boleyn. That's one of the spirits who haunts out there as well.
In Ireland with the bagpiper. That's a valid point.
So yeah, it's. I think it seems so long ago that it's kind of like what?
Light bulb. What if Bigfoot was nothing but the image of a caveman of the past?
Could be.
Bam! That's why you can't find anything. That's why you can't find the fur. That's why you can't find the poop. That's why you can't find the evidence. Because all it is a caveman spirit. Eureka!
Yeah. I mean, that's about as good as an excuse I can think of.
That came out of nowhere. Brain blast. I love those.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it's there's so many different like roads we can go down with these theories and stuff. Let's see here. The issue of ghost clothes is interesting for historians of the supernatural because, like a loose thread, pulling at it starts to unravel some of the assumptions about matters in spiritualism. Do ghosts retain the injuries or disabilities that fell before them in life? And what about the erotic fleshness of spirits, the touching and kissing between the living and the dead in the seance room, in the ectoplasm, a gauze-like spiritual substance? Photographs emerging from the orifices of mediums. Could the living even have sexual intercourse with ghosts?
Charlie.
Yeah. These kinds of naughty debates have not disappeared in the 21st century. Indeed, spectrophilia, or the love of ghosts, is a fetish that is a lively topic of debate on the internet today. Another turn of the screw in the long history of how spirits matter in the world of the living.
Wow, that was an intriguing story.
Yeah.
I like that. And I think that gave way to a lot of things right there. Just that story gave way to a lot of possible thoughts now, and another rabbit hole of den doom came out of that. But it opened up the mind to think. It's true.
It's one of those things where we keep talking and we have all these theories, but there's no way for us to know, like, for sure.
Yeah.
What's really happening, but it's fun to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what it's all about, is communication. And
More of a philosophical discussion.
yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, what we're going to do now, let's see if I can get this up the way it should be. There we go. Now we're going to hit you up with some of the stuff that's coming out of YouTube and some of the people we follow, and get you updated on some of the news in the last month. First, we're going to go to Operation Stargate, the CIA paranormal program. This is by Timeless Conspiracies, 3 weeks, got 52 seconds. Check this out.
Operation Stargate, a hidden program by the CIA, aimed to explore the potential of psychic phenomena, such as remote viewing, during the Cold War era. Initiated in the 1970s, this project involved intense research into the human mind's extraordinary capabilities, aiming to gain intelligence advantages. While officially terminated in the 1990s, the mystery shrouding this program inspired a plethora of conspiracy theories, suggesting the existence of government-sanctioned secret paranormal powers. The mere concept of using psychic spies has fueled public speculation about the possibility of advanced mind control techniques and their potential abuse. As debates continue over the veracity of Stargate's findings, the venture highlights the intrigue surrounding government-sponsored projects with roots in paranormal ideals.
Neutrino.
Now, that's why I wanted to show that one. Because it's actually bringing us to several of our discussions today, if we can get that far. Because, like you all know, we get to only do maybe a quarter of it on the show. So, and I wanted to follow up with that video in just a second. But check this out. This is something else. We're going to go back to science. Science. This is something that we wanted to share too. This is 48 seconds long. This was a month ago, so it was right after our show. This is about trivia fun. And this is something everybody should check out.
Neutrinos are among the most abundant particles in the universe, yet they are incredibly elusive. Created in the heart of stars during nuclear fusion, these tiny particles can travel through entire galaxies without interacting with matter. Imagine billions of them passing through your body every second without you noticing. Scientists study neutrinos to unlock cosmic mysteries, such as the workings of supernovae and the behavior of dark matter. Massive detectors buried deep underground or beneath ice have captured these fleeting particles, revealing insights about the universe's formation, energy, and the fundamental laws of physics. Their enigmatic nature continues to challenge our understanding, inviting us to explore deeper into the cosmic ocean.
So, why do we share these things? Well, it is a little bit of news, but it's also giving you a little science. It's to keep you guys updated on the things that are going on. And that's why we like to share this. Let me get the next one up here, because this one is also very interesting. Interesting to get that one up here set for you guys. Where did you go? You got a lot of. There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
So. There you go.
Good debut, though.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
All right. So this next one is, of course, now I'm not he's right or wrong, but we're just delivering the information. And this one came out. 1 month ago. So another one right after the show. Ironically, after our show, everything explodes and then fades on. I'm like, what the hell?
Although we do keep them entertained.
We do try. Yeah, we do it pretty good. So this would be an interesting thing, because this right here, Dr. Greer talks about conscious collective. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more after this video about something else, the connections of everything that's taking place. So check this out, you guys. This is 11 minutes.
Known craft that we have. If it's in the mainstream media, it is some version of a spin and disinformation, unfortunately. That one is extraterrestrial. That one is from the Lockheed Skunk Works, and if that gets disclosed, it's the end of oil. and there are photos and videos and multiple witnesses. You'd think that would be front page. It isn't, because they don't want the public to know this.
Soupy 2, no sir, I'm not painting a target right now.
There, Roger. We got something out here flying around. I don't believe it's flying saucer, but it ain't aircraft, so I don't know what it is.
Sounds like a close encounter.
It would be, yeah. 72, Roger.
And I had someone inside the FAA take that tape, and I have it.
Oh, wow.
It's actually, part of it is in Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And that was the ET's way of saying, you can be very specific in what your guidance is in the stream of coherent thought, the sequencing of coherent thought, which is what I call it, to guide them, because they were saying, yeah, we picked up on the fact that you said go here and then come here. And they went there and then came up to the mountains. And I went, that was a really teaching moment. I share these things because they're teachable moments of the specificity that these civilizations have to follow specific information. And it's quite magical and beautiful.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, they're literally picking up your consciousness and taking direct communication or instructions from that and then following through with it.
Yes, if you're clear. And so if you're scattered, whatever. The other thing is, I found out they're not interested if, as soon as someone becomes afraid, or if they have prejudices, you know, if they've studied the UFO subject, which is filled with mythologies of horrible negative information that's all false, they aren't interested, because they're not interested in what I call exo-racism, this sort of extrapolation of bigotry to different species in space.
Right.
So they're only really interested in people who have, are pure-hearted about it and not prejudiced.
That's incredible. That's fantastic, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people seem to have pure hearts and great intentions, and they can't seem to manifest these UFOs. How do you think that you were able to do this at a very young age?
I think everyone can do this. And I think the key here is, do you have a higher purpose besides your own entertainment to have a contact experience? In other words, they're interested in interfacing with humans who are ready to help build a bridge between Earth and humanity and these civilizations as we go forward into a cosmic civilization and join the cosmic cultures. So if that's your prevailing motivation and intent, then that's different. The other thing, there are a lot of exigencies and conditions that can affect whether an object appears in 3D or maybe it's in 6D.
Right.
For example, we've had experiences where nothing is in this dimension that you can see, but our electronics will start communicating in a language that's a trans-dimensional electronic situation, because there are aircraft that are military ready to pounce on these craft and hit them with an electronic directed energy weapon.
Exactly.
So I think that there are a lot of conditions. I don't think that it's unique to me at all. In fact, we did an ethnography looking back and found that there were many, many people who had done, had close encounters of the fifth kind types experiences. And in ancient cultures, whether it was drumming or chanting, they would get into a state of coherence as a group and have a contact experience, the star people. So in reality, I don't think this is new. I've simply sort of articulated and formulated a series of protocols so people can, have something to start with. And I say whatever I put out, honestly, it's to start with, and then you make it your own.
Okay, so check this out. Make sure you guys saw this and hear what he said. And there is a reason why. Let me set up the next video, because this next one's cool. And I'm going to tell you all, this is not all just general science stuff, because we have some other news out there too for some people who may know, may not. Let me get this one up. And this is, let me find it real quick, and then I'll tell you. There it is. Pal. All right. We'll get that set up. Now, the whole purpose of me playing that is I also wanted people to know. So this week, the United States Navy released a little bit more audio, which people like Stephen Greer and have got their hands on. And in the video, especially the one on the East Coast that these Navy pilots were chasing, or supposedly, maybe just following this Tic Tac, that it engaged, and then Tic Tac just took off. Now, there is a thing called a rendezvous point, and I'm not going to give the name of actually what it is or why they do it, or what they call a checkpoint that Navy pilots will fly specifically to during, before, or after a mission. Okay? It is only those people that are on the bridge of the aircraft carrier or the carrier, because Harriers too.
Yeah.
And the pilot, or the pilot and its wingman. Okay. Yeah. Here's what happened with this. Actually, they finally released. When this pilot engaged that Tic Tac, okay, and it fired away from it, lost visual, lost radar, the whole nine. The radar.
How big are we talking about?
The Tic Tac?
Yeah.
Tic Tac. TikTok.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could be the size of a propane tank. Those large propane tanks. It could be an accelerated generator.
Little things popping out.
Yeah, right.
We represent. Just step on them. I mean, I don't know. Why are we afraid?
All right, so these things, they're a little larger than that. So here's the story. Everybody's like, "We're out." No, don't go anywhere.
Sorry.
We did find
in the
out.
chat. Anybody talking with us?
Yeah. Let's see what they said there. I'm gonna come back up there. Cheap viewers on.
Okay, something important.
Oh,
cheap viewers. Medgene online.
Weird. Online at. You know what? Let's see. How can we? And that's interesting, and we thank you, because we know that sometimes Kix gives us the turds of the universe. Just being honest. All right, let me give this back to you. The Tic Tac,
yes.
Tic UAP. The control room registered back to the pilot. The pilot was, maybe 50, 60 miles away.
Yeah.
The Tic Tac was waiting for it at its checkpoint.
So it knew where to go.
It knew where to go, and it was waiting for the pilot to get to its checkpoint. Conscious collective, conscious thought. Do they know our thoughts? Does it know our thoughts? Because only a group of people and the pilot knew where the checkpoint was, but yet the UAP was waiting for the pilot to get to that location.
It's got to be big enough, because people have seen the Tic Tacs from the ground, right? It's not just in the.
I would suppose so. There's been nothing saying as of, but I would suppose so.
Oh.
I would like to know. You guys know? Let us know. Have you seen a Tic Tac? This UAP, this form of it? Let us know. Let's talk about that. We can bring that up on a show.
Yeah, because I'm trying to just figure out how big we're talking about. Because they don't look that big on the when you see the videos.
Yeah, but that's also on a
perspective
radar screen.
Yeah,
and they're far away.
Yeah.
So I mean, that little Tic Tac down on the ocean floor going across it, but you got to figure out how far is that F-18 up in the sky.
That's true.
So check this out, you guys. Something else I wanted to share.
For almost a century, U.S. presidents have witnessed and reported UAPs, including Franklin Roosevelt, Jimmy Carter, and Ronald Reagan. Did aliens seek and observe these leaders of the free world up close? Why? Has there already been contact? If so, is it something to do with controlling the limitless wealth contained in the skies above us? Our leaders have acknowledged that they are here, but another group seems intent on keeping that truth hidden. Who is this group? And how does it seem to have more power than our elected leaders?
So I wanted to share that so you guys can see what we're dealing with, what we look at, but it's also intriguing. I mean, this is entertainment. That's the way I look at it. It's entertainment. Um, a lot of times out doing this stuff, we're like, what is the big thing? What is the thing? And what about? We know Jimmy Carter, we know Reagan, and even Clinton tried to push the envelope of C, et cetera, et cetera. But there's other programs now they're saying that they don't even have that much power.
We don't know that the book, The President, or that movie, National Treasure 2, where they're the president's book and they talk about all the secrets that only the president can know. And there's always talk about disclosure and stuff like that. Here you go, Penta again.
Yep. Absolutely. And I agree. And that's a valid point. It's intriguing to, what does the president, how much power does the president of the United States have at this point? How much are they allowed to know? Why are they known? Why are people holding, these things at bar? Oh, hey, Christina. I wonder if chanting or drumming, it had something to do with the harmonic frequencies and the effect it has on a human brain, causing us to be able to communicate positive intentions. Well said.
I mean, talk about the different frequencies. It has to do with what we were listening to earlier.
Yeah.
The different frequencies that you had on the soundboard.
Yeah. That's another good point. Yeah, we had some frequencies we were playing with that Joni and Susan had uploaded, and we're like, wow, that's interesting. That's new. That's different. That's different.
But going back to the present, I mean, look at. I don't want to be political, but they're our last president. Still president now until Monday.
Right.
He was not all there. There just wasn't.
Some would say Reagan was the same way at the end.
Woodrow Wilson, he had a stroke halfway through. I think Reagan was coherent. I mean, I watched his last speech, and he was, but being there for 8 years, it can take a lot out of you. 8 years in a row.
I saw an episode, a documentary, you bringing that up, where it says, why does the president look so aged a year into their presidency? And they say because of all the stress and pushed on him and the beatdowns. And they say there is actually a videotape that every president watches. It's called the 4-hour VHS that gives all the secrets and all the information to the president in 4 hours.
I wonder if, Trump coming in president, but taking 4 years off, how that will affect his performance and stuff.
Good God, look at him. He looks aged compared to when he first got in office and now.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been beat down.
From when he first got in office, that's 8 years. Because 4 years for him, and then another 4 years for Biden, so it's 8 years later. You're gonna look aged.
Yeah,
it's just but it just goes to show that there are other people taking care of stuff. There is another. It's not
cabinets.
Yeah,
other
even people committees. People we don't know about.
Oh yeah, look at MJ. I almost said something I shouldn't have said.
When I having the men in black hats showing up at the apartment.
No, not that bad, but okay, we won't go there. Let's just say that there are other forms of government and committees that would run the country, even if the president wasn't here.
The Locust Grove, or not Locust Grove. That's a haunted house.
Let's not. I know what you're getting ready to talk about. Let's not go to the whole Diddy thing.
Well, I'm saying if that does happen,
vampires. I believe it.
Bring Shield in.
Yes, say it, girl.
It's the newest co-host.
She'll be joining us soon
next month.
But you know what? I believe in vampires. I believe that I'm starting to believe, and not by the typical version, but do I think there's some bad stuff happening to humans? I do, and I think it's powers that be. I'm really starting to believe that. That's all I'll say because I don't want anything else coming at me, and I don't want to be targeting.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah,
but
we're already talking enough
just,
crap.
we're just starting the conversation. You guys take it where you will.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we just
we're
feed
just-
you what you want.
yeah,
you believe
we're-
what you want.
We're not telling you to believe anything. We're just saying, hey, could this be happening?
That's right. Now we're going to switch gears real quick because not only do we do science, all science, not science, or health and life and stuff like that, but entertainment. And in that, we of course are into wrestling, and there's some huge news that is coming out of the news world. First, if you didn't know, let us introduce it. Pentagon Jr. is officially WWE. What?
That is awesome.
Oh, there's these coming out. I'm telling you what. All right. So Ryan and I could talk about this all day. However, we're just going to make it a short, a little bit longer.
That's what we should do. A wrestling show.
We could do a wrestling show. Jeremy's already asked us if we want to join him, and maybe we can do our own, wrestling podcast, our own opinion.
Yeah.
As of this week, Aleister Black is no longer part of AEW.
Nope, he is not.
He is now
Malachi
officially
Black is gone.
He is. From word, heading back to the WWE. Tony Khan, you need to stop effing
Tell
up,
you what,
dog.
man.
You're screwing up some fears. I'm just saying.
There is a lot of potential in AEW when it first came out, and there were a lot of people excited about it.
I was.
But
just like TNA and all these other smaller promotions, they start out strong and then they screw up their recipe.
There's no storylines really
that
anybody cares about. If you're watching a wrestling match, you're watching two guys go at it, it's great, but if you don't have any reason to like or get behind the wrestling, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
I mean,
I thought Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and even Cody, look at Cody left.
Yeah.
Young Bucks are there. Omega's still there. Jericho's there. We thought we were going to see something come out of that organized chaos. We haven't. It's still chaotic. They had great storylines, great group. I love the House of Black. I think they were a great I think the Hurt Syndicate
yeah.
can do stuff. But this whole Moxley thing, I don't like Moxley to begin with. Sorry, I don't like Moxley. But the Death Riders is a wannabe horseman.
I heard this guy talk about AEW, and the guy was like, if you take all of the people, the guys from WWE, and switch them with all the guys in AEW, the guys in AEW would flourish in WWE because they'd have stories. The guys in WWE would be in the same boat. So it doesn't matter the people they have. Like they have Will Ospreay, one of the greatest wrestlers, and they have a whole bunch of great people and they don't have any kind of direction.
No. I think you're right. And they have great trainers. I mean, Dean Malenko, for God's sake, the greatest wrestlers. And
there's a reason why people don't watch wrestling. There's wrestling, amateur wrestling is not a popular sport to watch. You don't see that on TV.
Right.
You've got to be behind the characters. You bring someone like Adam Copeland in to be a part of AEW. You have the name Adam Copeland, but then after that, it's like,
what you gonna do with it?
Yeah,
do something with it. And you're right.
You need to get behind the people.
You know what? It comes to writers too, and I will say this: storylines are sucking bad. But also, I have to say this: it doesn't. I see it in TNA. I unfortunately am seeing it in the old school television NWA. Okay, I'm going to say it like this: Triple H said it best, and I will say it now. It is not what it was, and they know the product is what the product is, but it's the best way to put out the product with baby faces, heels, etc., etc. When you see the moves being set up and somebody scooting across the mat to prep for somebody else's move, that's foul. That's bad carny. You never saw that in NWA. You know what? Didn't even see it in WCW. You see it bad in TNA now. You see it bad in WCW and AEW, all three. Their art has become shit.
One thing I know about WWE and compared to other places is that look at the Bloodline storyline. There are so many different intricacies that go along with it. If you say something on a promo in March, it might be referenced in October.
Yeah.
You know, it's like everything matters.
Mm-hmm.
With AEW, nothing matters. Like, oh, well, you know.
We'll try this.
Like, look at the Adam Cole and the MJF storyline where Adam Cole, MJF was the baby face. Adam Cole was the devil. He cost MJF the title. But when they got back together, MJF's the heel and Adam Cole's the baby face, and there is no like explanation for it. Like,
it's like twisted goo.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you caused you. There's no like, you cost me 6 months of my career, and it's like, well, you cost me the championship.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares.
Nobody cares. It's like UAPs. We don't care. It's out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's become that bad. And you know what, you guys? If y'all like to see us do a wrestling show, let us know.
We could talk some serious wrestling shit.
We could, and it's based on opinion, insight, and all that. But you know what? We'd love to do it. Maybe we can hook up with Jeremy and Nick, and we can all do it. Who knows?
We talk about the music show we did, Freaking Awesome Playlist. I like to do a Freaking Awesome playlist of wrestling.
Ooh,
theme songs.
That would be bad. Oh, score.
I mean, Miranda might not be into it, but
back in the day,
she might find some interesting ones because, yeah, I think that would be fun to do. We'll make me to do that.
I think you're a hit on there. We're going to end the show this evening, this morning, and this afternoon, wherever you may be, with something new.
Here we go.
There is a new chapter out there coming in 2025.
What in the world?
Yep, it's called the Identifiles trailer for 2025.
The Unidentifiles.
Yeah, pretty cool. I like what I'm seeing out of them so far. So check this out, and we're going to close the show with the Identifiles. This is their promo 2025.